It was a season born of optimism.
I knew we could go as far as we wanted to.
A season of dashed hopes and deflated dreams.
I expected to be tough moments, but I didn't really expect to be 10-9 and last place in our division.
A season of challenges met and adversity overcome.
This was even sweeter because they all came out of adversity and did it the hard way.
And whatever heights may be reached in the future, it will always be remembered as a pivotal season, where the long-planted seeds of success erupted and bloomed, where the first fruits of a new level were savored.
The Xavier Musketeers are into the Elite Eight.
It will always be the season of the run.
The expectations, I think, for us were trying to get this team to believe in themselves, to play without David West. That was going to be the tag on these guys, like it or not.
It was going to be a roller coaster ride. Our season was going to be kind of tough. We were going to need a lot of people to step up. And with him being gone, you had to fill in points, rebounds, and team leadership as well.
Early in the season, the wins were there, including some impressive victories against Rhode Island and Alabama. But so were the losses, some of them frustrating.
There was a lot of doubt, and I mean, not just in other people and fans, in our team as well. And even though we had doubt, we were still determined to get better and finish out the season the way we knew we could.
At the end of December, the Xavier Musketeers record stood at a respectable 9-4.
I don't know if anybody played a tougher schedule in terms of where we played, when we played, and who we played in January. We felt like there were, certain situations or incidents where we had played some great basketball, and that was something that we were holding on to. The Alabama game, who we knew they were a great team. They turned out to be an Elite Eight team as well, and I felt the biggest challenge for us was getting our guys to understand what it took to play at that level.
I personally was at the George Washington game, and you just sort of wondered what happened to the Xavier players and who these imposters were out on the floor. It was just so demoralizing, and as bad as I felt, that they felt 10 times worse.
Working low, but he's been really inconsistent. Down low again. Chalmers misses yet another three. Make it 1 for 12.
After the George Washington loss, Lionel Chalmers knew he had to do something.
I went off. I just, basically, cursed, yelled, slammed, hit the wall, hurt my hand, all of those kind of things. But the point of it was just to get guys to understand what Xavier University is about. We practice winning ways. Our tradition is to win. I've never been a part of a game where, I've gotten beaten like that. So at that point, I just kind of lost it a little bit.
That was a side to Lionel I probably haven't seen in my 2 years here. And when that side came out, it kind of scared me. I think everybody was kind of worried. We've never seen that before.
In spite of the new resolve and an inspired team performance, the Musketeers lost to Dayton in their next outing, dropping their record to 10-9, but they had reached a turning point.
We was determined to get back on our feet. We was down in our conference. We was probably the last team in our conference, and we just wanted to get back at least to the top. And by us working hard and just playing hard and just working together.
It was tough. I expected to be tough moments, but I didn't really expect to be 10-9 and last place in our division. But I think at that point we were just trying to find ourselves. We didn't know exactly what our strengths were of our team, and guys got together and we became more determined, and just we wanted to win for ourselves, pride of our school, and most of all, we wanted to win for our seniors.
Putting January behind them, the Musketeers turned their sights to one of the most dynamic dates on the schedule, the annual Skyline Chili Crosstown Shootout with the number 10 team in the country, the University of Cincinnati Bearcats.
Majority of the guys don't put UC game with the season because that's just a whole different game. We play that game just to I guess, to shut them up a lot, because during the whole year they've been talking trash and just coming at us left and right.
Ranked 10th in the nation, national reputation, national attention, constantly in the public eye. But across town, you got Xavier, a tournament team last year, but this year unranked 10-9, and it's the Rodney Dangerfield factor in effect here. Xavier's looking for some respect.
It was an all-out war on the boards from the opening tip, with seesaw leads, raw emotions, and high drama.
Chalmers, 2 seconds to shoot it. Pulls up.
It all came down to Lionel Chalmers' clutch shot with 27 seconds to go.
Chalmers with a 27 seconds to go. Xavier leads by 1. So go to your next.
That's what I want. That's what I came to college for. That's what it's all about, is to take that big shot when it counts, and I love it. And I've been doing it, you know, all the way back in high school. I've been doing it, and that's one of the reasons why I love the game so much. You know, I love to take that big shot, and you know, I feel like I can make it. So why not shoot it?
Inbounds, battle around, and there's the horn to end it. So a wild finish, but Xavier has stunned Cincinnati.
The Xavier Musketeers upset 10th-ranked UC. Xavier has now won 6 of the last 8 shootouts.
You know, what the Cincinnati game did for us was it gave this team a sense of confidence that we could win a close game. We could hit a big shot. You know, because every big shot we took didn't go in for us. And you knew I was hoping that the law of averages, I knew we had to make a couple of them here or there.
From that Cincinnati game, I knew we can do something then. I mean, I just seen the chemistry and just the guys' faces of how they really wanted to win that game. And just seeing the guys, how they play out there and just together, how we play as a union. I mean, I knew then and there, I mean, if we play like that all year, we probably have been in top 10.
More than a victory in an intense rivalry, the UC win inspired the Musketeers and was the first victory in their incredible run into the history books. A run that included a score-settling rematch with the University of Dayton. After a setback against Duquesne, the Musketeers picked up right where they left off with a final home game victory over George Washington.
Let's get by number 0, Lionel Chalmers.
During this final homestand, the seniors paused to say goodbye to the Cintas Center and their fans.
It was a different kind of farewell at the Cintas Center. Senior night for the Xavier Musketeers. Before the game against GW, it was time to say goodbye to the seniors. Starters Lionel Chalmers, Romain Sato, and Anthony Miles.
I think right now I'm making history in my family. First one to graduate from college, and just to take it home to my family, I mean, it's going to be a big thing for me.
They're playing basketball, but they're also growing intellectually, morally, and spiritually, and they're becoming productive in society. They're realizing our mission.
You know, Xavier's great in school. That's one thing I can say, and they're playing a good program, you know. And that kind of thing helped me a lot, you know, make me a better person and make me a better player.
I learned so much as a person, and I grew so much, you know, as an individual on and off the court that, you know, there's no other place that I'd rather be.
Inspired, the seniors then helped lead the team to a dramatic come-from-behind win over Temple.
Being down by 17, I think it was, you know, we took a timeout and said, fellas, look, we got to chip this thing away. And you know, by the next timeout, the 12-minute timeout, let's try to have it down to 12 and just keep chipping away. And then all of a sudden Lionel hits a couple shots, and Anthony Miles really, you know, explodes in the post, and that was really the team that you saw from the rest of the season. And it was a great example of how this team could play, what they were capable of doing. You know, it took us being down 17 to get there.
Then it was on to the Atlantic 10 tournament.
When we went to Dayton, we knew we had a lot of work to do. And as I told the team, you know, the day before we left, I said, we're not going to Dayton to win a game. We're going to win 4 games.
After a quick first-round win over St. Bonaventure, Xavier was matched against the undefeated #1 team in the country, St. Joseph's.
It is fitting that our first game features the first team in the nation, still without its first loss. We begin with the next installment in the amazing journey of the St. Joseph's Hawks. Their road to perfection hits the hairpin turn of tourney time, where the stakes, the pressure are raised. The next option obstacle is Xavier, where the mighty Musketeers have shifted from the role of the hunted to being the hunters. It's their chance to bag the biggest game of all and beat the unbeatable next.
Going into the St. Joe's game, all the guys and myself, we were very excited because we had a shot at the #1 team in the country, and St. Joe's is in the Atlantic 10, and it was just a great feeling to be going against the #1 team in the country and the best player in the country, Jameer Nelson.
It was a game that I knew we could win if we just came out there as a team and played the way that we knew how to play. And as far as everybody, not giving us a chance, we just took that as a challenge, and we knew we had to step up. We knew what we had to do.
The Musketeers dominated from the opening tip, taking an early 4-0 lead just minutes into the game.
Now a pretty crossover dribble as he takes Carroll into the lane. So Xavier getting it done, moving toward the basket.
A steal by Romain Sato with 15:56 left in the first half led to a Dolman feed to Miles in the paint. Romain continued to shine at both ends of the court, providing offensive scoring.
Hardly a player in the Atlantic 10 Conference, and that's a good example. Who can stop that?
And defensive blocks.
Basketball. Now Mallon has a route and blocked away. What a play by Sato.
A three-pointer by Lionel Chalmers with 4:56 left on the clock.
As many shots, and right now the Musketeers have tremendous confidence.
Followed by another three by Justin Dolman with under 2 to go, helped assure the Musketeers would head into halftime with a healthy 43-21 lead.
Dolman wants a three. That'd be big, and it is. 20-point lead for Xavier.
Continuing their momentum in the second half, the Musketeers put a quick 6 unanswered points on the board before St. Joe scored their first basket.
Gage was wide open, a defensive breakdown. Hawks still haven't scored since halftime. Phil Martelli's got to take a timeout.
The play got a little sloppy with 5 Xavier turnovers in the next 2 minutes, but St. Joe's was unable to take advantage and decrease the spread. Justin Dolman broke free at the 11:40 mark and provided this message to the crowd.
Hanging out here, they would have one more hurdle to get through to get to that championship game, but they have played nearly perfect basketball all day long.
Then, with just under 11 minutes remaining in the game, he put the ball in Chalmers' hands outside the arc.
From the rebounder.
This right now is a complete and near-perfect destruction as Xavier has doubled up St. Joseph's.
A steal by Finn set up Justin Cage in the paint.
Some kind of day for Xavier.
And another Finn assist put Sato back on the boards. Lionel Chalmers put an exclamation mark on the upset victory off an assist by Keith Jackson with 2:25 left to play.
Something for Coach Thad Matta that I'll never forget as he continues the great history of terrific coaching.
Despite not hitting a shot in the final 2 minutes of play, the Musketeers dominated, setting an Atlantic 10 tournament record by shooting 71% from the field. Once again, the seniors had led Xavier to its 11th win in the last 12 games.
During that game, when you look up there and you're up by 37 points at one time, obviously as the coach, you're saying, come on, clock, go. And, you don't want to screw anything up in that regard. But, it was such an interesting game how we came out of the gates and got off to a great start and finished the first half strong. And I really felt up 20 at halftime. One of the biggest things we had to do was start the second half well, and we start with an 8-0 run.
We had a feeling that there wasn't a team in the country that we couldn't beat, but we had to go out and prove it. And I think that game kind of proved it. And we celebrated probably for a good 5-10 minutes afterwards, but we knew that we had another game to win, the next day, so we couldn't celebrate too much. But thinking back on it now, it's so hard to believe that we had the #1 team in the country down 37 points and we ruined their undefeated season. But you got to be proud of that.
After blowing by George Washington in the semifinals, Xavier moved into the A-10 finals and the rubber game against Dayton. It was one more test of the team's resolve. After 8 ties and 7 lead changes, the teams went to halftime knotted at 27.
Here's Finn checking, going baseline with 3, fade away, tough shot, he hit it. Diedrich Finn ties it at 27.
Then the Flyers came out firing with a quick run to take a 36-31 advantage.
6 on the shot clock, finds a gap, goes glass and scores.
Xavier worked its way back into the game at the free throw line and tied the score at 41 with 10:18 left on a pair of Brandon Cole free throws. The Flyers retook the lead 47-43 with 7:20 remaining. but Xavier held UD to just 2 points the rest of the way. An Anthony Miles jumper and a pair of free throws from Chalmers tied the score at 47 with just over 5 minutes left. Diedrich Finn hit a jumper at the 3:40 mark that put Xavier up for good.
Stop in the lane, tough shot. Diedrich Finn. Xavier closes on a 15-6 run. 3, 2, 1. The Atlantic 10 champions for 2004, the Xavier Musketeers. What a win, 58-49. And they come away with their third title since '98. Once again, a final score.
Xavier became the first team in A10 tournament history and just the 9th team in NCAA history to claim a conference tournament title by winning 4 games. March Madness had come to Xavier before, but this was different.
Welcome back. Time to address the Xavier Musketeers. At one point this season, they were 10-9.
And fearing the most dreaded 3 letters in the college basketball alphabet, N-I-T. But then came a remarkable run.
They finished the season 13-1, blistering then #1 St. Joe's by 20 en route to a historic 4-game sweep in the A10 tournament. That effort lands Xavier a 7th seed and a meeting with Louisville.
The NCAA tournament began with another test of determination for the Musketeers. Xavier went up 5-4 early, but it was all Louisville after that. The Cardinals led by as many as 14 in the first half before hitting a 3 at the buzzer to hold a 42-31 lead at intermission.
In the game, Garcia in the corner, Jenkins is open, got it at the end of the first half. A well-diagrammed play by one of the geniuses of college basketball, Rick Pitino.
The sole reason we were down 10 or 11 points, whatever it was at halftime, was because of our mental breakdowns. Giving up the 3 at the end of the first half, we had 2 guys guarding the ball. We don't do that. They hurt us early on some plays that we knew through scouting that they were going to run them, and we didn't do what we wanted to do defensively. So I was very calm at halftime, just saying, fellas, if we can get these things corrected, we're going to win the basketball game.
We've been here before. 20 minutes. Brand new game. We've been here before. Let's go. All play smart, play together. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Here we go. Down 11. Here we go. Here we go.
Xavier Sr. stepped up in the second half. Miles opened with a layup and a jumper in the first 71 seconds to pull the Musketeers within 8 at 42-35. After Louisville stretched the lead back to 14 points, Chalmers and Sato hit consecutive 3-point baskets to bring Xavier within 8 with 14:28 remaining. Miles once again proved to be the master of the paint. In the next 3 minutes, he made a layup and dunked home a fin feed to change the momentum of the game.
Nice pass. Miles dunks it down, and here come the Musketeers.
Xavier was within 5 with 12:14 left to play. Romain Sato then converted 2 free throws after being fouled on a fast break layup attempt. Then Chalmers took a UL turnover the length of the floor and finished with a slam dunk at the 10:40 mark to bring Xavier within a point at 56-55. The Musketeers emphatically took the lead for good in the game when Diedrich Finn drained a 3 in front of the Xavier bench.
Finn picks it up and rips it, plus the foul.
He was fouled on the play and hit the free throw to put XU up 62-60 with less than 8 minutes to go. Then the Musketeers exploded with a 13-3 run to open up a 12-point lead with 3:14 remaining. The victory put Xavier in the NCAA second round for the 3rd straight season under the direction of head coach Thad Matta, who earned his 100th career victory as a collegiate head coach. Their second round opponent, Mississippi State.
The TD Waterhouse Center in Orlando, Florida. Site of the Atlanta bracket. Our first game of the day features 7th-seeded Xavier against the number 2-seeded Mississippi State Bulldogs. And the bracket, the winner of this game, gets an opportunity to face the 3rd-seeded Longhorns from Texas.
Hey, congratulations on getting through the first one, okay? Hey, we're going to let the big guys play. Tell them we're going to let them play. They get a hit a little bit on the hand or something, just play on, okay? Want the big guys in the game at the end of the game, okay? You guys, you take care of your ball club, you take care of your ball club. Anybody gets hot, you guys go get them, okay? Respect each other. Only talk to your team, only talk to your team. Knock it down. Let's put on a good show for the TV. Let's have a lot of good shots, all right? All right, work hard. Good luck to both of you.
After an early 13-13 tie, MSU wanted a 10-1 run in just over 2 minutes to take a 23-14 lead with 8:05 left in the first half. Xavier worked its way back into the contest with a 12-3 spurt of its own, led by a three-pointer from Finn and 7 points from Chalmers to knot the score at 26.
He looked like Earl the Pearl.
The Musketeers gained their first lead with 1:40 left in the half when Chalmers hit a three from the left side to give Xavier a 31-30 advantage.
So he had a tiptoe shot, could always get it off.
Chalmers, he can shoot it, buries a three, and Xavier takes a 31-30 lead.
State responded with a tray of its own to take a 33-31 lead and had the ball for what seemed to be the final shot of the half.
Nice timeout call by Rick Stansbury that time in order to get his offense going. Last shot of this half, make sure Xavier doesn't get their hands on the ball, and then Mississippi State gets a good shot going into the locker room.
Sato has struggled, though, 1 of 7 from the field. 8 seconds remaining. Bowers starts on the wing, fires a deep three. It's short. Cole with the rebound. Diedrich Finn. He ripped it! Count it!
What a huge lift going in that locker room. And Rick Stansbury incredulous.
Doesn't count. That's the question. Diedrich Finn from beyond the half-court line.
You know, Diedrich's shot at halftime was, I remember like it was yesterday, I almost tried to shoot it for him because I knew how much time. I didn't know if he knew how much time was on the clock. And to see him, take the 2 dribbles and let it go, I'm kind of the background shooting it for him.
I mean, every dog has his day. I mean, you throw up a shot, half the time they don't go in, and mine was just fortunate to go in that day.
Neither team took a decided advantage in the first 7 minutes of the second half until Dolman went on a 5-minute tear, scoring 11 points to give Xavier a 64-54 lead.
On the floor, tough team to trap. Dolman steps back. Again. The freshman. So poised.
XU led by 12 points by the time the two teams reached the 4-minute television timeout, and MSU got no closer the rest of the game.
Rev up the bus in Cincinnati. The Xavier Musketeers are heading for Atlanta.
Xavier had won 15 of its last 16 games in 8 straight as it earned its second trip ever to the Sweet 16. On the way, they had beaten 3 top 10 teams.
The most special moment to me had to be when we got past the second round, because in the beginning of this year, I said in front of everyone in an athletic meeting, I was like, we're tired of losing in the second round. If we get to the NCAA tournament, we're going to get past the second round, and we did.
Coming home that night, I'm trying to think, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and the bus pulls around, and geez, I don't know how many times we've made that turn, and all of a sudden there's 100 Xavier students out there jumping around and screaming and yelling.
Xavier fans are so excited the Musketeers are in the Sweet 16, they're not even sleeping. So they came out to the Cintas Center at 3 a.m. to greet their team back from Florida. Fox 19 was the only news crew there for the heroes' welcome.
It's a great feeling as a freshman, just coming here and making a statement and just making history.
We greatly appreciate it, and make sure, however you got to do it, you get to Atlanta.
Their next test would be Texas, ironically, a team they had faced in their only other Sweet 16 appearance in 1990.
We couldn't be more excited about the Xavier Musketeers and what they're going to do.
We found 4 tickets for $400, so she just dished out $400 for us all to go. I'm going to be in debt for a long time.
The people are what make Xavier University, and I know this, we're going to play our hearts out in Atlanta.
We have a relatively simple message today. Can be capsulized in just 2 words. Beat Texas!
Play hard, play smart, play together. Hey, yo, I know y'all love it, but how much do you want it? It's all down, baby. Play hard, play smart, play together. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
After Texas scored the first 4 points of the game, Xavier was able to close within a point on 4 different occasions. Dolman played a key role in keeping the Musketeers close in the first half, scoring 10 points in the first 15 minutes of the game.
No foul called. Miles with the dish. Oh, what a dandy play. And Dyson has it.
The Musketeers took their first lead of the contest with 4:30 left in the first half with a fast break three-pointer by Chalmers. They carried the momentum into the locker room with a 44-41 lead at the break.
Everybody here? Hey, y'all, here we go. 20 more minutes. 20 minutes, y'all. 20 minutes. 5 4-minute warms. Let's go. Play hard, play small, play defense, man. Defense to half. Let's get this, y'all. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
UT would begin the second half with a surge to knot the game at 50 at the 15-minute mark. But XU responded with a 7-0 run over the next 2.5 minutes.
There you go. Just relax. Ivy kicked it. Chalmers all the way. And a foul, too.
Finally, Sato would force a Longhorn timeout with another fast break basket to give XU a 57-50 lead with 12:37 remaining.
Sloppy. Here's Sato off the glass and good. What a great look. Nice old-time bounce pass. We can relate. Give me some of that old-time religion.
The Xavier lead blossomed to 10 at 63-53 with a layup by Miles with 9:42 remaining. But Texas responded with a 7-0 run of its own to pull within 3 at 7:33 before Finn hit his second three-point basket of the day.
Diedrich Finn. Yes! Oh, my goodness. How about him? Hide and seek behind the high-five man. They used that ball screen beautifully.
A pair of layups by UT's Mouton closed the gap to 2 points at 66-64 with 5:32 remaining. Texas would then close to within a point at 72-71 after a tray by Brian Boddicker, but a pair of XU free throws gave the Musketeers a 74-71 advantage with 15 seconds remaining. UT's Sid Mill-Harris missed a three-point attempt on the next possession, and Diedrich Finn was fouled while pulling down the rebound with 4 seconds left.
3.9 to go. The Xavier Musketeers, under the leadership of Thad Mutta, are into the Elite Eight for the first time in the history of the program.
Come on. Hey, you know, when times were hard, I almost told you guys if we made the NCAA tournament, I'd get a tattoo. Damn, am I glad I didn't say that. Hey, let me say this. I honestly, I don't have words right now. Am I surprised? Hell no. I'll tell you this right now. You competed every possession. We got off that slow start. We had that deer in the headlight look a little bit. Biggest thing, fellas, you're playing with your minds right now. Our defense, our activity on the defensive end of the floor in the second half was incredible. The deflections, loose balls were ours. That's the Xavier way right there. What did we come to Atlanta for? Get 2 games. We're halfway home. You're now 4 minutes away. 4 minutes away from the Final Four. As we told you before, we play these games for guys like Tyrone Hill, for Father Huff. Father Huff, man.
So proud of you. So proud of you and these guys. Great job. Thank you.
That was for Father.
You know, this run that this team made, he had thought about that before. And this was his vision for Xavier basketball. And you know, I for one could not be prouder to be the head coach and accomplish what this team did this year for him.
No, that's it.
Keep going.
Hands, that's right.
We got another one Sunday, fellas. Keep going. Keep going.
Pride on 3. 1, 2, 3, pride.
Keep it up.
One of the things that was kind of funny to hear about was that after the Texas game, apparently the campus completely emptied out. People, any student possible, they all got in their cars and they drove to Atlanta for the Sunday game.
Walking out on the court and looking up into the crowd, and you see just a sea of blue. it was weird. You know, I didn't really expect that many fans, but you know, it was special for them to come all the way down to Atlanta and support us.
I think on campus and beyond, to me, it was one of the greatest examples of what athletics can do in an institutional setting. I mean, the rallying point that our men's basketball success became on campus and really off campus. You know, we had a turnout in Orlando, Florida, and then in Atlanta, Georgia, that was beyond anything I could have ever imagined. In Atlanta, you thought you were in Cincinnati. I mean, every street corner you walked down, every time you went to a restaurant, there were Xavier people. We seemed to basically own the town.
The stat sheet came by and they dropped it in front of me, and it said Duke Blue Devils, and then their stats, and then the Xavier Mountaineers, you know, under the Xavier stats. So that kind of showed me, you know, that, hey, they didn't know a lot about Xavier, you know, before this NCAA tournament, but they certainly do now.
We welcome you to the Georgia Dome in Atlanta and this final regional final. The 7th-seeded Xavier Musketeers against the top-seeded Blue Devils of Duke. We began with 65 teams in this mosaic we called the NCAA tournament 12 days ago. Now we place the final piece of glass into the Final Four. Duke or Xavier will advance to take on UConn, Georgia Tech, and Oklahoma State are already there.
Both teams started the game slowly, with the first field goal coming at the 16:05 mark when Chris Duhon put Duke ahead 3-0 when he drove the lane and put a floater in just over the outstretched arm of Justin Dolman. Miles hit the Musketeers' first bucket at the 15:42 mark as he knocked down a jumper from just inside the three-point line.
The short point production is because of the injury. Here's Miles for two.
Chalmers then knocked in a three to bring XU within a point.
Now Chalmers, that's for three. A little nylon, but a little guy, but that's his game.
A steal by Finn with 11:52 left in the half helped put Xavier up by 5.
And Finn's going to go to the half court. No, he's not. He's going to give a runner. And there's Chalmers again.
Duke then scored 5 on answer to their own, tying it up at 11-11 at the 10:20 mark.
That's for three, and it's not good. But the tip is. And that's
the battle continued with 6 lead changes as the half was winding down when sophomore Diedrich Finn pulled off another of his miracle clutch shots.
They got Dolman if they want. Finn pull up over Duhon, and it is good. He had a 45-footer at the half against Mississippi State. Let's go to Sullivan Wilcox.
That motto, both teams struggled to score the ball early on. Was it a case of good defense or just nervous energy?
No, I think it was good defense. I hope, because you know, to hold them to 28 points is what we have to do. We've done a good job taking care of the ball, and that's one of our emphasis, because you can't give them anything easy. And you know, we're fouling the shooters too much. We've got to stop doing that.
Oh, good shot by Finn to go in at the half. Thank you, Coach. Back to you, Vern.
The second half started with 2 missed attempts by Duke. Then Anthony Miles found the bucket just under a minute into the action.
Diedrich Finn up short. Miles put back, got it.
Duke's Luol Deng tied things up at 35 with a long three-pointer at the 17-15 mark.
Deng for three. How about that, huh?
On Donnet, the Musketeers stormed back with their reply.
That's a major issue. Dolman for three. Oh, wow! A rattler.
Then at the 12:55 mark, Anthony Miles would score his last point of the game before fouling out, committing 2 fouls in just 6 seconds.
Can't get it, and the push by Miles on Miles, and that's number 5. Wow, does that change the whole game?
Taking advantage of the swing and the momentum, a Duke three-pointer tied things up yet again with 12 minutes left to go.
And here's the zone. They got to really watch the deep shooting. Then
Duke's J.J. Redick took his shot just seconds later.
And if there's any help, they lock low. Redick, there it is. He's been toying with getting free.
Brandon Cole gave Xavier its last lead with just under 6 minutes left to play.
Cole for the rebound. Up, in.
But in the end, it wasn't enough.
Battle for the ball. Deng's got it. Redick steps back. 3 ball. Got it. J.J. Redick at 59-56 with 2:50 to go.
Duke survives Xavier 66-63, and for a regional final with so many skilled guards, guys you can shoot it, guys you can beat you off the dribble, this one came down to pretty solid defense.
They're a great defensive team, and you know they help defense is tremendous, and you know their system is great, the way they run it, and I think they were prepared for us.
It just seemed like they were everywhere. You know, it seemed like they had like 6 guys out there.
As a coach, and I don't know if people will ever understand this, you know, from Dayton, you win the conference championship on a Saturday night, you go home, Sunday you get Louisville. You know, you prepare for Louisville, then Mississippi State. You prepare for Mississippi State. You win that game. You move on to Texas. You beat Texas. All of a sudden it's Duke. And all of a sudden the horn sounds. And I know me personally, I'm walking off the court and I'm saying, what just happened?
You know, to have a chance to get to the Final Four with, 4 minutes left in the game is what you dream about and what you want, And it's tough for me to even talk about it right now because, I really feel like we could have won that game, if we would have fixed a couple little things.
Just as we got back to the Sweet 16 against Texas and had to get through Texas to get to the Elite Eight, the team that beat us in 1990, my hope is that we get back to the Elite Eight someday and have to go not around or past Duke, but through them and over them. That's what I look forward to.
After the heartbreak began to heal and the sting began to fade, Thad Matta and his team, the students and the faculty, the fans and friends of Xavier all across the country would reflect on the 2003-2004 season.
What a marvelous run. I've never seen a turnaround quite like it that I've been part of or close to. And to see such a turnaround from last place in the conference to right there with Duke in the Elite Eight, a marvelous turnaround, and it came out of adversity. Sometimes you begin successfully and you continue successfully. This was even sweeter because they all came out of adversity and did it the hard way.
Well, as a freshman, I mean, it was an awesome feeling just to be going to the NCAA tournament, let alone starting and being a part of the Elite Eight for the first time in Xavier history. And it was just a great feeling for me.
Our seniors led, and our players, developed a role, and they stuck with that, and we came together, and we came out we went out with a bang, and that's kind of what I expected this year.
This year I think it's a better one because nobody think we're gonna make. We started the season like 10-9, and we feel like we're out. Everybody calling us out, so we just like get together and play hard and get there to get to Elite Eight. That's just the best thing happen.
From them to turn it around from maybe one of the worst seasons in recent history to the best in the history of the program has just been remarkable and really wonderful and a true blessing.
My hope is that this experience in 2004 will truly allow us to now have the complete confidence in our ability to take the ultimate step and compete for a national championship in the years to come.
I don't know if it will ever completely sink in what was accomplished, maybe until I'm done coaching.
The Elite Eight finish for the Musketeers was the deepest Xavier had ever advanced in its 16 NCAA tournament appearances. The recognition and the attention it brought to the university will reverberate for years to come.
I couldn't have drew it up any better myself, and we made a wonderful run, man. We really did.